Gibbs, driver of the 13 Mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Jr., driver of the number 5 Kiker Motorsports Camry. Welcome to Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Kimmel with Rockingham Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Tony Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota in the NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing. Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing. All right, we're getting ready to start here.
All right.
Oh.
Hey everybody, it's Let's Talk Racing, and we have Grant Enfinger on the phone. Hi Grant, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, so appreciate y'all having me on the show tonight.
Oh, no problem. So, I'd like to ask you how you like working for Justin.
Well, it's a great experience up here. Everybody at Algar Motorsports really puts a lot into the racing, and unfortunately, we haven't been able to run the full year this year, but the couple of races we have run, we've run competitive at, and just a good group of guys to work with, and everybody enjoys what they do and puts a lot into this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since I think this is the first time we've had you on the show, it could be wrong, but we have so many people that pop in here. Go ahead and give us a brief racing resume about yourself so everybody can get to know something about you.
Well, yeah, I grew up on the Gulf Coast of Alabama and started racing the go-karts and Legends cars and late model range. And over the last 2 years, I've been doing the ARCA stuff and ran full-time for Algar Motorsports last year, and we finished 4th in the championship standings there. This year, we've only run a couple ARCA races. We finished 3rd in Toledo in May, and we finished 2nd in Iowa Speedway a couple weeks ago. So we're going to Indianapolis this weekend, and we actually had a chance to test here, so put a lot of effort into it, and hopefully we can get that one more spot and pull off a win this weekend.
Cool. Now, you've been doing all the stuff already. Now, what is your aspirations that you want to be able to do?
You know, I mean, I guess you could say I'm racing for a living right now. I want to be in maybe a little bit more of a secure full-time ride, but like I said, the great thing about Algar Motorsports is everybody really wants to do this. Everybody's giving it their all. And you know, I've been doing some truck stuff a little bit here and there, trying to dabble a little bit more in that towards the end of the year. So, you know, just being able to get a good, secure, competitive ride is a really tough thing right now. But that's my aspirations, and like I said, little by little we're getting there, and can't say enough about Mike Algar and everybody on the team that allows us to do this. So looking forward to another good weekend.
That's awesome. Now, since we were talking about earlier before the show started, with the weather being so hot, how does it take a toll, like, on you driving and all? Because I know that can't be easy.
Well, obviously it's nice and warm in all these race cars, so I think it's a little bit tougher on the drivers during the summer times. So kind of glad the Indy race this weekend is at night. It's on Friday night at 8 o'clock. So kind of happy about that. You know, it'll be a little cooled off, but yeah, that's just part of it. You know, some guys put a lot into their interior package during the summer and try to make it cooler. But the ARCA races are relatively short compared to your nationwide races and your Cup races on Sunday. So it's just part of it. So you obviously got to do a good bit of conditioning and be able to withstand some of the heat issues.
Mm-hmm. Now, I do have a question. Like, when you got started racing, like, did anybody inspire you, family, or when you were watching racing as a kid, was anybody your inspiration? You're like, oh, I so want to do that one day.
You know, it was definitely my dad there. He never raced himself, but we always enjoyed the racing, and we always went to Talladega when I was a kid, and always went to the local dirt tracks or in the local half-mile track at Mobile International Speedway, and he actually had a guy that he did some work with. He raced out there, Glenn Cooley, and just kind of got started watching those guys and helping out where we could. And I believe I was 11 when we got our first go-kart, and it just kind of went from there.
Yeah, that's how it all started right then and there. Now, what would you say is like your best racing memory or moment throughout your racing career so far?
I had a lot of fun in the Legends cars when I was a little bit younger, traveling back and forth. I had a lot of good memories in the late models, a lot of good memories in the ARCA cars. So, that's really tough. Heck, last weekend at Iowa Speedway, just being able to put everything together to actually make it to the track was a struggle, and to go out there and run as competitive as we did. And it wasn't the win we wanted, but like I said, it was second place, and it is a step in the right direction. So, there's just been too many good memories to mention just one.
Yeah.
Now, you said you're out in Indianapolis today, right?
Well, we're in Springfield, Illinois, which is where Algar Motorsports is located.
Okay, that's right.
Where Justin and Mike are from, and that's where their shop is. So I'm up here helping Kelly Kowski and some of the guys here in the shop work on this car. So we got a little bit more to do, and hopefully we'll be loaded up tonight or in the morning.
Cool. Now, who's your crew chief?
Kelly Kowski. He crew chief for us all year last year, and towards the second half of the season, he really came to his own as a crew chief. He really started making some gutsy calls and really kind of took to his own. So me and Kelly have a really good relationship there, and we've been getting along great on the racetrack, and all that's going in the direction it needs to. So got some really good people with Algar Motorsports. It's been really tough to make it to the track this year. So like I said, this will be our third race together this year. And hopefully we can put some stuff together and to maybe run another race or two by the end of the season. Now,
you've had your best racing memory. I'm going to hit you with a twist. How about your most embarrassing one?
Oh, boy.
I wouldn't really call it embarrassing, but, I guess a couple of years ago at Talladega, I was pushing with a few laps to go, and I rolled Todd Bodine over, and that caused a big one there at Talladega. So I wouldn't say it was my biggest mistake, and I wouldn't say it was my biggest embarrassment, but it was one of those small things that had a really big effect. So it's part of it, and that stuff will happen again, and the shoe may be on the other foot, but that's all part of it. And like I said, hopefully we'll be talking to you again after this weekend, and you'll be able to ask me my best moment again. So, yeah.
Best moment's always the winning one when you get to have that checker flag driving around.
Absolutely. We've been knocking on the door too many times for all these ARCA races. So we've definitely come close, and like I said, last week was another one with our second place finish. So hopefully we can get all the stars to align this weekend and have another good run.
I do wish you luck on that.
I appreciate that.
Now, who do you find that's the easiest driver for you to race against out on the track?
The easiest driver to race against?
Yeah, what's the one you would enjoy racing against and feel you'd give what you get?
Somebody who was my roommate in Charlotte for about 3 years, who when I moved to Charlotte, I started working for him, is Tom Hessert. So we're all buddies. We have a little bit of a rivalry every time we get on the track. So, it might be for first or it might be for 15th, but it seems like we're always running each other hard. So that's always a good time, and he's always run me clean, and I've always run him clean. And Frank Kimmel is somebody that I always grew up respecting, and we've always had a good relationship on and off the track. So he's one of those guys that's really tough to get around, but he never never does anything dirty. He never, you know, you can trust him when he's on the inside or the outside of you.
Okay. Now, y'all just raced. Let's see. Your last race was it was a truck race, wasn't it? Up at.
No, it was Iowa Speedway in the ARCA car 2 weeks ago.
Okay. For some reason, I was thinking you were in the last truck race.
Nope. Hopefully, we'll be in Bristol in about a month. That should be our next truck race. So, you know, like I said earlier, it's just really, really tough to put funding together and be able to make all these races happen. So, really fortunate to be where I am and have a good relationship with Algar Motorsports.
You think you're gonna make it to Martinsville?
I believe so. You know, that's on our wish list. You know, it hasn't been you know, secured yet, but that's definitely something we're trying to do towards the fall.
Well, I'll have to make sure I try to run into you when I'm out there, because I usually try to catch at least the Martinsville races for the trucks. Get up with everybody I know. What? So let's see. How did you finish at the ARCA race then?
Yeah, we were second at Iowa a couple weeks ago, and we were third in our other ARCA race this year at Toledo Speedway. So, you know, we're on a we got some momentum on our side. We just got to find a way to seal the deal this weekend.
If I seem to remember, Frank Kimmel was giving you guys a little bit of a hard time up front there too, just for a short time.
Yeah. You know, it was a struggle getting by Frank there at Iowa, and our car was really free there, and I get to the underside of him, and I get loose, and you know, it felt like it took forever to get around him. But that's how Frank always is, and he's a good, hard, tough competitor. But like I said earlier, he's always really clean, and you don't ever have to worry about him.
Well, we're going to have his son on the show toward the end of this segment at 7:45 tonight.
Okay.
So we'll have fun talking with him about his dad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. We got a couple more minutes here left. Now we went through and now what's your favorite and your worst favorite or your worst tracks that you've gone to so far?
You know, I think one of my favorite tracks, just because I grew up in Alabama, is Talladega. And fortunate enough to my first start there was third in the ARCA car a couple years ago, and that was a good moment. You know, but those Daytona and Talladega are such a they're so different than anywhere else you go. It's nice to be able to run those tracks once or twice a year. I'm glad there's not more of them on the schedule, but those are fun tracks. I came from the short track, so I like Salem, I like Winchester, I like the high bank, you know, short tracks. But you know, Pocono, that's a really fun one. That was one that was new to me last year, and just the fact that every corner is different, that it's a really fast track. That was a lot of fun. There's just so many of them. So you know, like I said, we raced the full season last year. Had a chance to see a lot of these tracks for the first time, and really had a blast.
Now, did you get a chance to run out at the Rock yet?
Yes, absolutely. The Rockingham is one of my favorite places to go. And unfortunately, ARCA stopped going there, and we didn't get a chance to go there last year. But I ran there in 2009 and 2010, and you know, that place. So that definitely, you know, it's a high speed track, but you wear everything out. You got to get up on the wheel and drive it. And man, there's just so many of those tracks that have. So sometimes some of the mile and a halves all feel the same, but some of these tracks with a lot of character, I really enjoy.
Yeah. Well, we'll have our next color coming in soon, so before we let you go, we'll give you a chance to thank all your sponsors.
Absolutely. Appreciate Preble Rish for coming on board this weekend, and BB&T Mortgage and Hoosier Tire Midwest, everybody that's made this race possible. So everybody tune in Friday night. It's on 9 o'clock Eastern on the Speed Channel. So like I said, we went to Indy and tested. We've got some good feedback, so I really feel good about our chances.
Awesome.
Well, good. That'll give me something to do on Friday night then.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you have a good night, and we will talk to you again later. And
Thank you.
Kick butt.
Thank you for having me on.
All right, Grant.
No problem. Thank you.
Jason.
Let's talk racing.
already did that in there.
Oh, you didn't hear you. I was busy taking care of our other caller.
Well, goodness gracious. Hey, Kyle, how's it going?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We're doing good. He's as kooky and crazy as usual, so just ignore him.
He hung around with me out there for a little while.
Oh, so you know how he's like. So,
we had a blast.
Yeah. Okay.
He had to deal with all the kids, though.
Oh man.
So we have Kyle Larson on the line with us, driving for the D4D program. Mm-hmm. And why don't you give us a little bit of your racing resume, Kyle, so the people that are listening get to know something about you.
Well, I got my start in go-karts when I was 7 and won some races in that and championships. And then moved into wing sprint cars when I was 14. And, yeah, that's what I've been racing the past 5 or 6 years. And then this is my first year in stock cars with the K&N series. So it's been a pretty quick road, but it's been fun.
All right, do you have any races that you'll be in coming up soon? Like, what's the next place you're going to be at?
Tomorrow night I'm going to run with the USAC series at Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis in the midget and silver crown. And then I'm going to go to Knoxville in a 360 and 410 wing sprint car on Saturday. And then then 360 national starts next week. So I'll run Friday night or Thursday night. And then Friday I run at Iowa Speedway in the K&N car, and then back to Knoxville on Saturday through pretty much the next Saturday. So I'm busy in Iowa here.
Gee, you're a pretty busy guy.
Are you going to be running the Knoxville Nationals between the 8th and the 11th?
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm going to run 360 Nationals and 410 Nationals.
Well, just drive by and pick me up as you're heading on the way up there, because I'm going to be going up there too. I got some people that we're going to probably, I might as well tell you now, we're going to be doing some live shows from there, so we'll probably try to hook up with you and get you to come be a guest on the show.
Okay, yeah, I'll be on for that.
Okay. Now, let's see. I know you race on just about anything you can. Why don't you give a rundown on all the different racing you've been doing here? I could probably say in the past month, and we probably have 10 different types of races you've done.
Well, I ran the K&N stock car, I ran a truck at Kentucky, and then I've been running the 360 and 410 wing sprint cars quite a bit, and also a non-wing 410 sprint car, and then the midget on pavement and dirt, and then I'll make my first start in a Silver Crown car this year, tomorrow. So I got a little bit of everything in my schedule this year.
Wow.
He sounds like he's trying to fashion himself after Tony Stewart.
Oh, gee.
Oh, my. And hold on. Casey Kane also runs a lot of different stuff. And Kenny Schrader. And Kenny Wallace. They both like to run everything.
Mm-hmm. Now, since you've done all this racing everywhere, what would you say is your favorite track you've raced on and the worst track that you've raced on?
My favorite track and my least favorite?
Mm-hmm.
My favorite track would be Tulare the Thunderbolt Speedway or Raceway in Tulare, California. And my least favorite is definitely Greenville, South Carolina. I hated that place.
Oh, Lord. Now, with all of the racing you've done, what you say is your favorite and best racing memory? Like, thing that's happened through your racing career?
Last year I won a World of Outlaw race at my home track. Well, about an hour and a half north of my house in California, and the Gold Cup race champion. And I was the first local to win it in probably over 20 to 30 years.
Oh, geez.
That was definitely the coolest feeling I've had after winning a race. And the Outlaws are really tough, so it was good to get a win with those guys.
Now, we're going to flip it on you. What would you say is your most embarrassing racing memory?
A couple of years ago, I was leading the heat race by a pretty big margin, and I wrecked it all by myself and destroyed the car, so I was done for the week. So that was the most embarrassing moment I've ever had in a race car, for sure.
Oh, gee.
Oh, I tell you what, I mean, it could be bad. I've heard of people, they not thinking where they're going, and they keep driving on past the track thinking they're going somewhere else, too. It's almost bad driving down the interstate, and people start talking on the phone, and I've had this happen to me, And I'll drive right past the freaking exit I'm trying to get off on and have to go down to the next one and loop back.
Oh, wow. And you expect me to surprise are you trying to surprise me with this? I mean, I know you...
There's lots of things I've got that's embarrassing, so...
I could see
that's
you
just
doing
a
something
trivial
like
thing.
that. No. Oh, my goodness. Now, with all, like, the warm weather that's been going on everywhere, like, how does it affect you, like, racing-wise? Because I know it can get pretty hot in the cars and the weather's already blazing, so I know that can't be easy.
Well, in the stock cars, you get the fans on your helmet, so it's not too bad. But the sprint car stuff, you don't have a fan or anything in your helmet, and it gets kind of hot. But you got all that air blowing on you. You don't have a windshield, so it's not too bad once the car is moving. It's not bad at all. It's more just sitting in the car before the race starts when it's really hot.
Now, don't let him fool you. He sleeps most of the time. Right, Kyle?
Yeah, I like to take a power nap before the race.
Hey, I've got pictures of you guys when you're at Langley, the 3 and 4 of you guys crashing out all together right there in a circle.
Yeah, that made...
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
You saw those pictures on Facebook already, didn't you?
Oh, man. Look, they're fibbing on you now. Gee.
Not fibbing, it's on there. I guarantee told you.
Well, he'll probably show me after the show what he's talking about. Now, when you were growing up, like, what got you into racing and what inspired you to get you into this?
My parents, or my dad, he grew up next door to a sprint car racer. He's now in the Hall of Fame. So, Tim Green, we got to go to a lot of races with him and grew up going to West Capitol Speedway. And then he built me a go-kart when I was 4 to play around in, and that's where I got my start and fell in love with it. I've been racing pretty much every week since then, so it's been busy but fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, did you do any sports besides driving? Like, before you got into driving, did you do any sports before that?
I played baseball for a couple years when I was really young, when I was like 5, 7, or 8, and I missed a lot of the baseball games for racing, so I had to make a decision on what I wanted to do, and I chose racing. It was a lot more fun than sitting out in the outfield.
Yeah, probably. Oh, he's showing me the pictures of you right now where you're sleeping. He's got proof. Oh, man. He's not being nice to you today.
Hey, I used to sleep in the car and during red flag, so what the heck? You can
Lord.
crash out in the middle of while you're waiting for everything. And he'll tell you, when they get out there and after they finish practicing, after they qualify, and they've got a bit of time to sit there and relax, so do what you can.
Yeah, I like to get as much sleep as I can, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. When you travel a lot, it's kind of hard to get some sleep, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm usually in a car driving to the racetrack somewhere, or in a plane flying to a different state, so I'm always on the go.
What are you looking in the near future to be doing? Other than racing every night, just about.
Yeah, I guess just looking at the next race, but long term, I'd like to end up in the Cup Series someday. But if that didn't happen, I'm perfectly fine with what I'm doing right now with racing every week and almost every day. So just try to enjoy myself and have fun. But yeah, my goal would definitely be to race in the Cup Series someday.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to come back and do the combine at Langley in October?
I think that's on my schedule. I'll probably have to go back to that at Langley and do that again. That was a lot of fun last year. I got to meet a lot of people, and we got to do the combine, which was my first time in a full body stock car. So it was a time I'll never forget. So it was definitely cool.
All right.
Yeah, it was interesting from the other standpoint too. Well, we won't mention how many cars got toner up and how many laps.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some stuff tore up by the end of that day.
Yeah, out of the 3 cars, you had 2 of them tore up, and I think the third one was damaged some too.
Yeah, I think the body got damaged a little bit on the third one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean that sort of killed a lot of y'all's seat time to be able to get out there and take laps practicing it before you go out there and actually do some big time stuff with everybody watching.
Yeah, and it rained the first day too, so that didn't help either. But
yeah, that's right. That's right. I was out there watching everything.
Yeah.
So now, how your parents figure in with all this stuff? They're good with everything. Do they travel with you, or just to some races, or what?
They go to a lot of my open wheel races. They'll fly back out here tomorrow and watch my racing this weekend, and then they'll be in Iowa for the Knoxville stuff, and then also my Canyon race at Iowa Speedway. So my dad just retired probably about a month ago, so he's been able to come to a lot more of my races, and likes it a lot. The last couple of years I haven't been able to race in California as much, so he hasn't been able to see me race like he used to. So it's good to have my parents out here watching me.
Well, good. I'll brag on you to them. I'm sure they already know it, though. Well, you want to go ahead and run through your sponsors, and let's...
Yeah, I'd like to thank Rev Racing for giving me the opportunity to run the K&N Series, and Toyota and NASCAR and L&M Ethanol Maintenance Contracting and JRI Shocks, Quick Performance Filters, and everybody else that helps out. There's a lot of people that help out on that car, and to do what I do, if it wasn't for them, and thank my crew, Randy Goss, Mark, Dylan, and just all them guys that helped. So.
And let's not forget, of course, you're going to thank your mom and dad for all their support that they've given you throughout the years, and like your dad getting you inspired with racing, so let's not forget them.
Yeah, thanks to my parents too for getting me started out in racing and putting up with me for all these years. They don't get to go on many vacations anymore because they're vacations at our racetrack. So thanks to my family for just sticking behind me.
Well, here's something for you I'm going to throw at you real quick. We did with all the other guys on your team, because they all were on the show right after the Langley race. Brian Morehouse pretty much gave you guys pretty much the same set of figures all across. He was grading all you guys out there that were racing, and he said y'all have been doing really good, and he's sure that y'all are going to be doing a lot better too as you get better, doing all the different things you're doing. He said, "You're crazy, though. You drive way too much." No, he didn't. I'm just joking. But Brian's a good friend of ours, and he comes on and we talk with him quite a bit. Now, what did you think of the NASA and the Air and Space Center that you got to go to when you were here?
Yeah, that was really cool. We got to see, where they drop all the stuff into like the water and then on the ground, and make sure it's safe for the astronauts. And then we got to go in the wind tunnel too, which was really cool. We got to walk down deep into it, which was we got to see the propeller, or the big propeller, I guess. That was really cool. Got to take some cool pictures, and I had a lot of fun. Got to meet some people.
I'll have to tag you. I don't think you have just a straight personal account on Facebook, do you?
I don't really get on there much anymore. I'm more on Twitter than anything anymore. It's at Kyle Larson Racing.
Yeah, if you go to your Facebook Kyle Larson page, you'll probably see all those pictures where you were tagged and I did of you.
Cool, yeah, I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and let you get going on to what you got stuff. I'm sure you got plenty to do. Get ready for the next few races here. And it was a joy having you on the show finally.
Yeah, please come back to the show again.
Have me.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
See you later.
Let's talk racing.
Hey, this is Matt Lofton. How are you doing?
No, this can't be Matt.
We're doing. Oh, don't listen to him. Roger's a nut. We're doing great tonight. How about you?
Doing fantastic.
Awesome.
He's one of those fake Facebookers. They want to pass their name off or something like that.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Anyways, besides Roger being himself, for the people that haven't known that much about you, Matt, can you give us a little bit of your racing resume, like what all you've done when you started racing?
Yeah, sure. My name is Matt Lofton. I drive for Coulter Motorsports in the 16 Cutmaster.com Chevrolet in the ARCA series. I started out racing go-karts probably when I was about 7 years old, and did that for a few years.
I don't think there's anybody. There might be maybe a few fingers out of a whole handful of people that have come on here that don't have any go-kart racing.
It's all go-karts. It starts with go-karts.
Sorry to interrupt you, Matt, but now, of course, that puts you on our list to call when we have charity go-kart races.
There you go. There you go. I'm gonna tell you, I probably had fewer go-kart experience than almost anybody racing. I ran the restrictor plate go-karts for probably 4 years. I ran purple plate, which is rookie class, for 2 years, and then I ran junior restricted for 2 years. And I won my first race that I ever ran, and the announcer came over to me and stuck the microphone in my face and asked me if I was going to be a race car driver when I got older, and I told him no, sir, I was going to be a football player. So. I missed the boat on that one, but I tried to play football for a few years and never ran a 4.240 and never got to be 300 pounds. So.
Do you know Robert Richardson Jr.?
I've heard the name, yes, sir.
He's in the Nationwide Series. He used to play for Texas A&M until he got his knee screwed up, and then he decided to go racing.
Well, my parents came to me when I was still in grade school, and they got tired of driving me from the go-kart track to the football field, and asked me to pick one. And at the time, I was really big into football, and I did that. It was a little bit easier for the family to do than racing was. So when I graduated high school when I was 19, I'd gotten back into racing a little bit, just going to the racetrack and helping people and being a tire guy. And then me and my dad sat down and talked about it one day and decided that we would try to run some limited races. And in 2006, I started racing in a limited series at Orange County Speedway and South Boston Speedway here at my home in North Carolina. And we were fortunate enough to win the championship that year at Orange County. And the next year we decided to move up and run some late model stock races, and we were fortunate enough to win a handful of late model stock races and have a very successful year there and finish second in the points. And then from then on we just kind of kept taking the next step, and this is it's been a fun ride. This will probably be my 5th year as a rookie.
Oh man!
What does your girlfriend think about it? What was her name? Terry Duncan?
Yeah, she's been very supportive. I mean, obviously racing is a very difficult, very very difficult thing for for families and significant others and spouses and all that. So, but I've been very fortunate. She's been able to come to a lot of the races this year and put off work to be able to come and support me in my racing. And it's, obviously it's nice to have her there, be able to spend a little bit of time with her. Otherwise it'd be one or 2 days a week. So I've been very fortunate to have a good one there.
Mm-hmm. Now, like throughout racing, what would you say is your favorite track and your worst track? Like your least favorite?
My favorite track, I probably have two favorites. I have an actual favorite one to drive, and then I have a sentimental favorite. My favorite track to go to is Iowa Speedway. I absolutely love Iowa. I love the racetrack. I love the state. I love the town. I love the people. I love everything about it. And then from a sentimental standpoint, Orange County Speedway in Rougemont, North Carolina, that's my home. It's 15 minutes down the street from me, and I got my start in racing, and I could probably draw you a map of every bump on the racetrack.
Oh man,
that's about me with Langley Speedway just down the street, 10 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you what, that's another one. I really like Langley. I got a chance to race there probably 3 or 4 times with the Hooters Pro Cup Series. And really enjoyed that place. We had a lot of success there. We got an opportunity to go to a lot of flat, no grip racetracks, but probably one of the best races I can remember in a long time was our first race there with the Pro Cup cars, Had a 4-wide finish to the end, and it's just a really cool deal. Always have good fans there too.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a good thing too. The fans are what drives most of the people out there as it is now.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, a lot of people with the, a lot of people that are fans of stick and ball sports, come to me and they want to know, well, what does it really matter to have fans in the stands? You can't hear them, you can't see them, but you know that they're there, and especially after the race and before the race, there's a certain level of energy anytime you get 80,000, 90,000 people together in a small place. Whether you can see them or hear them or not, you know that they're there. So it definitely adds to the excitement.
So where's your next race you're going to be going to?
We leave out tomorrow actually to go to Lucas Oil Raceway Park in Indianapolis. So that'll be my first time racing there. So I'm really excited. And kind of pestering everybody that I know that's been there before, trying to get a little bit of information. But really looking forward to this weekend.
That's awesome. Now, throughout all of racing, what would you say is your best memory from racing, if you can pick one? They all do that. They're all like, man, gee, which one would I pick, right?
I still like my question best.
I know. His question's coming up after this one. He's like, oh, anyways.
It's probably not as hard as I make it sound. In 2007, was the year that I raced late model stocks, and we had been very successful from the gate, and sat on the pole and finished second a lot, and probably the most memorable moment that I have in racing is when we finally got that win, and it was probably about this time in the year, so it was a little bit past the halfway point, and just the relief, just to get it out of the way. The amount of pressure that we had put on ourselves to get the win, and the amount of work that we had put into it, and long hours to finally have all that come together and be able to take the trophy home and not say, well, we should have won that one or we could have won that one. And it means an awful lot to know that you did win it and know that you can win them.
Now, here's Roger's question, which is the exact opposite of your favorite.
Not really.
Well, not really, but what's your most embarrassing racing moment?
Because you can have a worst moment, and you can have an embarrassing moment.
Yeah, there's a difference there.
The worst moment is like creating the big one at Talladega or Daytona, but embarrassing moment could be the time you finish and you try to do a spin out and you flip over your car and you slide on the roof. That's embarrassing.
Did you do that?
Nope, haven't done that.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Never been on the roof of my car.
Yeah, okay.
I have been on the roof of somebody else's, though.
Yeah. Anyway, so what would you say is your most embarrassing racing moment?
I'm going to be more honest about that than almost any other race car driver. I'll tell you my honest to God most embarrassing moment. We did I had ran the Daytona ARCA test 2 years ago, and we went down there, and it was right after they repaved the racetrack.
Oh, man.
And really just went down there to run the test and see how everything went for the race. And we had made our first 3 or 4 runs of the day, and we were in the top 7, somewhere 56 on the speed. And at the test, they don't let you jump straight out onto the racetrack because there's multiple cars going out at a time, so you have to run the apron all the way to the backstretch and blend out. I don't know if you saw the duel for the 500 this year. If you saw what Michael Waltrip did.
Yeah, when he came out and sort of shot up in the middle of traffic before getting up to speed.
I did that at the Daytona test, and that's probably that was definitely my most embarrassing moment.
Oh, man.
So,
tear up yours and somebody else's, or just?
No, just mine, thank God. But I had the. I'm pretty sure nobody else has me beat on being the first one to wreck at Daytona. So we saved it, but I was.
You're way behind that curve.
Oh boy.
But that was my most embarrassing moment. I was really embarrassed about myself. But I was sitting there watching the race earlier this year, and I had to send a whole bunch of "See, I told you so" to a bunch of people when I saw Michael do it too. So.
Oh, goodness.
Take some of the sting out of it.
Say, Michael, I know what that's like.
I wish he'd have done it 2 years ago, a couple weeks after I did. It would have been a little bit.
Yeah, you could live with it a lot shorter time and then instead of have it so long now.
Now, since we cut you off about you saying your resume and starting with go-karting, what would you say inspired you? Like, who was anybody inspire you to get into racing? Like, family members, or did you watch a racer on TV and you thought that was really cool?
I'll tell you what, these are just stories that I've heard from my parents from the time. I mean, nobody in my family races. Nobody really raced. My dad has always been a big race fan. But from the time I was 2 or 3 years old, my parents told me I was always, I had a 3-wheeler in the basement when I was 2 or 3 years old, riding it around in the basement. And as soon as I could walk, I had a 4-wheeler, and I was riding the 4-wheeler. And I was probably 6 years old, and we had went to somebody's house, and he had a go-kart.
Oh boy!
And I did the 6-year-old thing and said, "Daddy, I want one. Daddy, I want one. Daddy, I want one." Long enough that he finally came home and surprised me with one day.
Aw.
And neither one of us knew what we were doing or what we were getting into, but there was a go-kart track probably 15 miles from where we lived, and we started racing there, and had some people that helped us out, and we had a lot of fun with it. I mean, go-kart racing is obviously the purest level you can get to. It's everyday people, enjoying a sport that they love. So we had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun with the go-karts, and as I said, I moved on to playing football and stuff, but I always had a passion for racing and always enjoyed racing. When I quit racing go-karts and I got away from the track, it hurt me too bad to go back and to watch races without being able to do it. So I kind of stayed away from it for a few years, and then as soon as I got back to the track and started seeing it again, the sickness came back in me, and I had to start doing it.
All right. Well, with all the hot weather that's going on, and besides the traveling, like I know when you're in the car racing, that cannot be easy. So how are you taking that, and with all the heat that's been going on around lately?
I try to spend as much time as I can during the week outside. I try to spend at least 4 hours a day, doing something as often as I can, and I spend the first hour and a half of my day is spent at the gym working out and running, and as much as I can do to keep my cardio up, and then like I said, I think a lot of it is just staying conditioned.
Yeah, well, we're going to be having our next caller coming up soon, so before we let you go, let's give you a chance to thank all your sponsors.
Okay. Really want to thank everybody at strutmasters.com for making this possible for me. ECR engines, we made the switch earlier this year, and everybody saw the results that we had at Talladega, and since then Michigan and Pocono and Chicago. So really want to thank those guys. Thank everybody at Coulter Motorsports for giving me the chance to drive wonderful fast race cars every week, and thank y'all for having me on the show.
Now,
No
I got
problem.
a quick question. You got anybody else in the family that races also?
Okay, what was that now?
Does
Do you
anybody...
have other family members that race also?
I do not. I know everybody asks me about Justin Lofton and if I'm related to him. I have a brother named Justin Lofton, but it's not the same one that races.
We figured we'd ask that because we get a lot of people that'll send in questions and stuff, so I figured I'd throw that one out there real quick. Well, let's go ahead and let you get rolling on, and we will get you back on the show here in the future. And I've got your contact number, so I can always snag you.
There you go. Well, give me a holler anytime. As long as I'm not in the car, I'll pick up.
All right. Have fun.
All right. Thank you, Roddy.
Bye-bye. All right.
You
Roll
don't
along.
on?
Huh?
All right. Is he on?
No.
No? Well,
You'll see the little speaker
Are you
light
leaving him
when the
hanging?
speakerphone is activated.
I know, but...
As long as you see him flashing, he's on hold.
Okay, Well, you're leaving him on hold for a while.
Well, I told him I was going to finish up with the other person.
Well, I know.
Welcome to Let's Talk Racing. Hello, Frank.
How's it going?
Good.
It's going good.
Thought you had one of those cell phones that die too easy.
No, it does that a lot, though.
All right, we have Frank James Kimmel the second. All in one sentence there.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, that's a mouthful.
Try writing that in a check. Oh man.
So you want as many of those you can get written to you, right?
Yeah, that's right. The second deal that comes from Mom, so the second's a lot longer than Junior.
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness.
For that, she doesn't like Junior very much, so.
Oh, so she decided to go with second. Well.
Yeah, when that came about, it was if I got renamed Frank, it was not going to be Junior. He was not going to have that. So yeah, we're how's it going?
Pretty good.
It's going pretty good here.
I think, if I remember correctly, I've already met your father, and I think I've met your sister when she was working at the Rock.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry you had to meet my sister. That's not very good.
Well, you ought to love this. I actually had her do a video bite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for on the show. I think you'll have to catch it on YouTube later on tonight when we download it for archive, and you'll get to see where she does a little lead in on there as well.
Oh, okay, that's perfect blackmail.
Oh man. Well, you mind giving us a little bit of a resume for your racing?
Dude, I don't have that big of a resume, especially the guys that y'all had on here earlier. But
That's
you were
all
listening,
right.
huh?
yeah, I mean, you got a great Enfinger. He's raced for however many years now. Pretty awesome, pretty great driver there. Matt Lofton, who's doing great this year, and of course Kyle Larson, who never really heard of until this year. But we don't have that big of a resume. We've run a lot of local short track stuff, street stocks at Salem Speedway, and we're getting into a late model this year. And we made one ARCA start. We finished 7th. So our resume is not that deep. We've run a lot of races, a lot of street stock stuff. It seems like it's more affordable for us, and there's a lot of competitive racing throughout Indiana, Kentucky, Ohio, through the street stock series. So, like I said, we won 2 track championships in a super stock sportsman type car. We won a street stock championship also at Salem, and we've got 1 late model race under our belt. And we're gonna have another one next week.
Awesome.
Now, I understand that, at least from your Facebook thing, that you're a driving instructor at Richard Petty's Driving Experience.
Yeah, I got that gig when I moved down to Charlotte. They had that Richard Petty driver search going on. I kind of called about that and, asked. And ended up that they, didn't end up doing that. But they said, hey, you want to come, work for us? And I'd heard of it before, and I, had people that I knew that had done it. And I was like, what am I going to do? And they're like, you're going to be the driving instructor. And I thought, they must be thinking they're talking to my dad. Me.
Jump on it anyway, yeah.
Guys, how to drive. So I showed up, and first day they put me in the car. They were teaching me how to give ride-alongs, which was kind of cool. Probably the fastest part of our program, just daily program we have. Sat there, did that for a day. The next day, they started loading people up actually in the car, and where I actually had a guy get out on me when he found out that I was 19 years old and it was my first day.
No. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing for a couple of years. Get to visit a lot of cool tracks. Just got back from a 2-week vacation, kind of work vacation in Canada. We visited 4 little short tracks up there, and
that's cool.
Leave for New Hampshire tomorrow.
Cool.
All
yep.
right.
I took and actually went out to the one at Charlotte and took a friend of mine out there for a few laps. And the guys that were driving, I already knew them before we ever got there.
Oh, who was it?
One was Jimmy Kitchens, and the other one, Doug Thurman, I think it was, or
Andy Thurman.
There we go.
Yeah, Andy did all my training. Like, that's who I followed that very first day. That was Andy. So I pretty good friends with Andy. He's been there forever and pretty good at the job. I mean, he teaches you everything you need to know about it. And a lot of people on the front side, they see it and they think just show up, get in the car, and we tell you as the instructing part what you're doing wrong, what you're doing right, how to get better, and ride-alongs just get in and go. And there's a lot of backside to it that you got to do. I mean, it's a huge program, a huge undertaking to get to the racetrack, and I really didn't notice that until this past year when I started traveling a lot more. When the cars would show up and you got to clean every car, and mechanics got to go all the way through it. And I mean, it's a huge program, but it's cool. It's cool when you get people that get out of a ride-along car and that's the greatest thing they've ever done in their life, and they're thrilled to death. It's a pretty rewarding job.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it when I was there. The friend of mine was my wife's sister's daughter's husband's father. You got all that?
I don't even got all that, and I'm right here next to you.
He sat there. We went down and visited his folks, and they were hearing me. We were talking about a lot of the racing stuff and everything, and they said, "Oh, he's just name dropping and all this stuff." And so, took him, went out there, and actually set it up with the people at the Petty Driving Experience, and made him think that he was signing the waiver. When you come into a track, you usually sign the paperwork that you can't blame them for anything.
Yeah.
And so then we walked over, and Jimmy came over to see him, and I had Thurman come over to me and said, "Hey, what size helmet you wear?" "What?" "What size helmet you wear?" So threw on a helmet, hopped in a car. He got done after this, and he was just crying away. It just surprised him that that I would do that, and that I actually knew the guys. He when he saw his wife, actually we had to call the wife because we had to take him back to the house so he could clean his pants.
Oh my gosh!
He told her, he says, "No, he ain't no name dropper. He actually knows these people."
No, Lord.
But it was hilarious. I always like doing stuff, give some people warm fuzzies.
Warm fuzzies.
Not necessarily dirty shorts, but
No,
warm
Lord.
fuzzies.
Oh, Roger.
Oh, jeez.
More than you wanted to hear, right?
Now, besides him bringing that up, now, talking about stories and all here, what would you say is your best and favorite racing memory?
It's so hard. Everybody asked that, and I was actually talking to a buddy of mine last night, Parker Kligerman, and we were talking because he hates trophies because he says, he puts the same amount of effort into every race, so every trophy, a win or anything, it's all the same because every one of them he's going to put in every bit of effort he can, and that's kind of how racing is with me, and that's what I've learned from my dad, that no matter what race you do, if you commit to doing it, you just have to do it 100% and go after it. So, most memories, you could say a win was great, but you can't really compare it one win to another.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, probably the coolest thing was getting to run the ARC race against Dad. I mean, that was pretty cool. I probably shouldn't say this, but when we got off pit strategy off everybody, we had 4 tires, and most everybody had 2 tires that were 20 laps older than our 4. We were coming through the field, and crew chief, I'm just sitting there driving, trying to save tires. Crew chief comes on, and is like, "Hey, you're up to P6, next 2 cars ahead of you for position." I'm looking, I'm like, I don't see my cousin Will, who I thought was leading the race, and I hadn't passed my dad, and it's a pretty bright yellow car, you can't really miss it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, where in the heck are these guys? Finally, I crossed over because I got stuck in traffic, and I realized, they were a half lap ahead of me. And so I passed the next 2 guys, passed Tim George for 3rd, and look up, and I'm running Dad down really fast, and then end up passing him. So that's pretty cool, as dominant as he's been to drive around him. Even though we've got better tires and everything, it was pretty cool to run them down from where I couldn't see him out the windshield to catching them, passing them, and then we were about to catch and pass Will to take the lead, and the caution came out, and that really screwed our night.
Yeah. I caught that race. That was a good race too. You were looked like you were hauling the mail. I think they were talking a lot about you too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, at one point we were all running 1, 2, and 3 on the scoreboard, which was kind of cool. But you know, everybody came and took tires 60 laps into the race, and I stayed out. And you know, a lot of people were, you know, they said they were talking about how I probably shouldn't have stayed out. We weren't really fast enough to stay out. But then 25 laps later, when we pitted for 4 tires, it was the best call we could make with a car that wasn't really capable of winning.
Yeah.
Because if it went green the rest of the way, we win the race. If it doesn't, then we're going to run right where we did. And we were about 5 laps from putting Chris Buescher a lap down under green when that caution came out, and then he ends up winning the race. So, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Right, I'm still reliving that race, and it's almost a year old.
Oh, man. Now, Roger likes me to ask this question because he thought of it. What's your most embarrassing racing moment?
I actually have that one. First year running street stocks, I was 16. Actually, I think I just turned 17. I picked up the name Dozer because we hit everything. I mean, I was driving over my head the first 3 or 4 races, and it was just bad luck. You know, we get in the turn, be side by side, pass lap cards, something happened, we cut a right front, hit the wall. So I kind of got a nickname, and my dad had told me about 2 or 3 races in that I'm really going to have to calm down because if not, everybody's going to race me too hard. You know, I'm not going to have any respect. Well, we finally got a race, and I was leading. I took the lead with like 25 to go, and it was a Saturday night race at Salem in the street stock. And with 5 to go, I was leading by over a straightaway, running great. You know, hadn't touched a thing. Great, probably one of my best races I'd driven up to that point in my life. And I spun all by myself.
Oh, no.
Went into turn 1, just spun out. I just lost it. And, you know, like I said, I had no pressure. There was no lap cars, and we were so much faster than everybody. And so then we get turned back the right way, didn't hit anything, which was lucky.
But hey, just to interject real quick, when you go to listen to this on YouTube, you got to listen to Matt Lofton and see what he did. I don't know if you heard it or not.
It's probably something at a road course, if I had to bet.
No.
I got to watch his road course race. There was some funny stuff going on. But
oh.
I'll have to listen to Matt's. But on the restart with 5 to go, then I tried to, you know, I'm driving over my head now because I'm restarting 10th, and I should have won the race. And we end up getting into somebody and get turned around, and we're replacing the entire right side and nose of the car. So that was probably the worst thing because the next weekend we went to DeCoin, Illinois, and my dad tells Tony Stewart that story.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, he starts laughing. He said, well, if the gray-haired man right there ever tells you he didn't do that, he's full of shit. And he says it straight. You know, I'm sitting there like, Tony Stewart just heard about how I just was a complete idiot with 5 to go. Going to win my very first race that wasn't, you know, in a go-kart type series. I was like, this is great.
Oh,
Thanks, Dad.
Oh.
What are dads for?
That's right. I mean, he's the most embarrassing one of all of them, and that's very, very true.
Aw.
Oh, goodness.
Oh.
So what's your track for where you're going to be going to, what you're going to try racing in as far as the next division up, or what?
Well, actually, surprisingly, we've got a ton of races coming up. We've only run like 4 times this year, which, you know, kind of is depressing. But when you're not running for a championship, you know, races kind of are hit or miss. But my next race is next weekend. We're running Shady Bowl in like a main event series. It's an outlaw late model that they run up, you know, Ohio and Michigan area. We're running Shady Bowl, and then following week, I believe the following week I'm in Iowa with the driving experience, and then I'm about the next 2 months I'm straight racing. We go street stock racing, we go late model racing, and then we're doing the ARCA race at Salem September 15th. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna be busy. I don't know how I'm gonna do school, but I'm sure I'll hear from Mom if the grades don't show very good.
Well, if you get out this way to Langley, let me know.
Where is Langley exactly? I've the K&N race there. I never gotten to go.
Yeah, we just had the K&N race back about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Huh?
Buddy that ran. I have a buddy, Brian Ortiz.
I know Brian.
Rico. Yeah, he ran up there. I think he ran pretty good too. I want to say he ran like top 5. I can't remember.
Yeah, he. Most of the guys ran pretty good. I think Brian finished like 5th or 6th, somewhere around there.
Hey, it's the K&N series is pretty awesome. I got to go to South Boston for the first time, which is a cool little track, but I haven't been able to go to Langley yet.
Okay,
well, you'll have to come down here then.
Yeah, if you ever, well, you know where Virginia Beach is in Virginia?
Yeah.
Roughly about 30 miles west of there.
Okay. Just a couple, not too many hours north of Charlotte.
No, if you go from Charlotte, 5 to 6 hours, depending on if you got heavy foot or not, like me.
All right.
We'll have to come up. Any big races going on?
They've got a summer heat race coming up, I think, this weekend. Has about a 200-lap late model race.
Hope it doesn't get rained out again.
Let's see, what else? You would ask me that. I don't have their site up right now. I can do that real quick.
You got to make sure you're prepared now.
Oh.
I'm prepared. I can tell
I like
you.
him for saying that. Oh, man. Oh.
Yeah, he gives you a pretty hard time, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And I'm his niece, so, you know, he has to be a little tough on me. So, it's all right.
I was talking to you earlier, Roger. We were talking about the Salem race. Actually, we actually found out today that we got a primary sponsor for it, like about an hour after I talked to you. We got a primary sponsor for Salem, which is really cool to run the ARCA deal, and pretty excited about that. It's going to be, last year we found out about a month ahead of time that we were really going to do it, so this year I've got about a month and 2 weeks. So I guess I've got to do better this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to take, and I remember you said something about that you might have something coming on good. Let's see, the next big thing they got, like I said, is the Hampton Heat on July 28th. Then they have the Wheeling Mods coming in for September 1st. And then they have something called Modified Madness on 13th of October, which is like a 100-lap modified race or something like that.
Okay.
But, yeah, most of the big races have already gone through. The K&N was the biggest one they had. And then the Hampton Heat, which will be a 200-lapper for the late models.
Okay. This weekend, like I said, I'm in New Hampshire, but I think my next off weekend is September 1st, that weekend. So I might have to come up and watch the modified. They put on a pretty good show.
Now, you did say you did some go-kart racing in the beginning, too?
I started in mini cups. I ran those forever. I always said I was born the wrong. I was born either 20 years too late or about 5 years too early. Because when I turned 16, that was the age to run any local short track. Nobody ran. You had to have a driver's license to be able to go on the racetrack. Well, the day we built the car to go run there, I turned 16. We went and ran Salem. The next year, all the local short tracks went to 14 years old.
Yeah, doesn't that suck?
Oh man.
I ran mini cups for 2 years, just hit and miss, the big races, simply because I couldn't run anything else. You couldn't run a late model, you couldn't run a street stock, you couldn't run anything. So that's the only logical thing, because we're not open wheel midget people. We're not very big into dirt either. So that was the only thing I could do. Mini cup. And then sure enough, they allow it, right after that. So kind of killed me on that. Everybody that I know, all the guys I know that I raced with, Parker and all them, they say that, it was the worst years to be born, because right when we're hitting our prime, right now when we need to start moving up, it's really hard because the economy's falling down, whereas people that are born, they're going to turn 21, the guys that are 15, 14, they're perfect, because when the economy starts taking back off, they're going to be 21 years old, and they'll be ready to race. They're going to be prime, perfect for the next generation of NASCAR. So, funny how that all works, you know.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest sport there is. I mean, the only sport you gotta pay to play.
Oh yeah. I'll have to get up with you with a couple of things later on here. We're going to be, one of them I can tell you about now, is we're doing an AIK race up here. I believe it's going to be in December, and it's going to be a charity race for the King's Daughters Hospital. So we're going to start trying to build up our own little team of
Shoe-ins.
Shoe-ins, yeah, that's a good word for it. And get everybody together, come on up here and have some fun racing.
No, well, what kind of cars are they?
AIK, American Indoor Karting.
Okay. And where is it going to race at?
It'll be in Virginia Beach.
Okay, cool deal.
Yep, we usually get about at least 50 drivers that come. Sometimes last year we had to split it up because we had almost 100.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, cool.
So it gets really competitive, and we sit down and we generate like 5 people per team.
Okay, yeah, that's a cool deal. On a karting note, you ever heard of Steel Fairgrounds that they've got here? Randy LaJoy's. It's out back of Randy LaJoy's shop.
I know about Randy LaJoy's shop. Is this a racetrack?
Yeah, it's a go-kart track. Like, I mean, it's a 20th, maybe a 20th of a mile. And it's the same thing. All, Brandon Reynolds, Corey LaJoy. I know Stewart goes out every time it races. It's like a charity deal. Same thing that you all are doing.
Oh, okay.
And they started as a fun deal one year. And then people started putting wings on the cars. They're little go-karts.
Oh, yeah.
Like working on the motor. And now they've got to make rules. I'll have to go, next time I go there, I'll have to tell them all about it. Because I'm sure all those guys love to do it. I mean, all of them, all the guys that have their toys. That's one of their.
Yeah, well, now
Boys and their toys.
see, this is going to kick their butt because all the carts are the same.
Oh.
Really?
They're all. It's an actual karting company business there. They have an indoor road course, and all of them are set up the same. So it comes down to your driving abilities.
Mm.
Right, and do they weigh them down the same? Because I'm going to be a big disadvantage.
Well, I tell you what, if you're skinny shit, you got a good advantage because the carts all weigh the same, and then so.
I might try that right
Yeah,
now.
this way, I had 2 years ago. I went out there and had a team out there, and one of the guys didn't show up, and I had to go jump in the cart, and that was hilarious. Back then, I weighed over 300 pounds.
Holy smoke! Yeah,
trying to get in and trying to get my ass out. Oh my God! I almost peed in my pants. I was laughing so hard.
when we go around here, the guys, we went with Justin Alguy and them. They go out and all the cars are the same. And the little indoor road courses. They beat me, and I'm like, that's not fair. It's 400-pound go kart with driver, and I've got an extra 60 pounds on you all. This isn't right.
Oh.
Oh
God.
This past year, I made sure I had skinny shits.
That's right. You got to build a team, right?
Yeah, it started out pretty good. We qualified in a good cart. Then the cart that we finally drew, I think was probably the worst one out there, but we still took, I think, about like 4th or 5th out of the 10 teams.
Yeah, do all the cars run afterwards, or do they wreck them pretty hard?
What?
Do what?
Do they run afterwards, or do they wreck them pretty hard?
No, if you wreck, you cause that stuff, they will black flag you.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
And one of the other hosts that we usually have on here, he got black flagged twice.
Oh, jeez.
First time it's for a few seconds, and the next time it's for like a half a minute or a minute, something like that.
Then they hit a kill switch.
They're going to be faster, but they ain't going to pass me. They may get all the way around, but they're not going to pass me. As wide as you can.
There you go. Make that sucker wide.
Right.
But anywho, some of the other stuff I'll talk to you about is some new stuff we got to help out some of the guys trying to get sponsorships.
Okay.
So, be looking for that coming up.
Oh, yeah, we always looking for sponsorships, right?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Now, did you all talk to, when you all talked to Matt, you didn't talk to him about his road course?
No.
No.
I heard something about he, was jumping hills in a BMW the day before the ARCA race at the road course. I don't know. I don't know the whole story because I wasn't there.
Maybe I should call him back when we hang up with you. Say, we got a follow-up. What's this about the road course stuff?
Now, what happened, see, I guess between the teams, Coulters and then Cunningham Motorsports, they rented Alex Bowman and Matt a car to get used to the racetrack, right?
Uh-huh.
It was going to be a race car, right?
Yeah.
A race car, they race out there all the time, blah, 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 all this stuff. Well, they call the people, show up for the day, and there's like 3 trailers there. And they're all like 85, BMW truck cars.
What?
And they're calling like, where are you all at? Oh, the black trailer right over here. And they're like, where's the car? Because it was like a joke, because they couldn't give them a good race car on a track they never know.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave them like a 1985 like BMW that they went out there and raced. They said they were all over the place.
Oh my gosh.
I think Alex said that Matt spent more time in the grass than he did on the asphalt. I don't know if that's true or not.
I just finished texting Matt about that.
Oh, really?
Let's see what he says back to Roger in a moment here.
I'll have to give him this, see if he can try to call back in.
Oh, Lord. This should be good. That's interesting. Oh, man.
Yeah,
Ask him if he was in the grass more than the asphalt.
more than the asphalt. Yes, ask him how the grass was in Millville, New Jersey. So.
Oh, man. Now, that's a good story. That's a nice one to have.
Yeah, and it's funny. I did a starting part there, and I didn't ever run off the. I wasn't fast, but I never once touched grass. And now, if I ever go back there, if I touch grass, I'm probably going to get made fun of the entire time.
Well, bravo to you for not doing that. Good job.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be good now.
Yeah.
Being good is overrated.
Well, Roger, you would know about things like that.
Sure I do.
Oh, Lord.
I've been around a long time. Don't forget about that.
Oh, I know, but I'm not going to start with that. I'm going to keep my mouth quiet and be nice here.
Did he just say he'd been around a long time?
Yeah. He admitted this, and let's everybody know that Roger's admitted that. So, yes, you heard correctly.
He hasn't been around the block. He built the block. Is that what?
Yeah.
No, I built the sand pit before they put in the block. What are you talking about?
These are all good jokes that I've had on Dad before. See.
Let's see. I'd have to think to see if your dad is older than I am or not. He's probably about the same age or close.
Do the math in your head, Roger.
What year were you born?
56.
Oh, you're way older.
No.
Okay.
Man.
I raced all the way up till I was in 1998, and then I had to quit for 2 reasons. One being was that somebody had run into my
Oh gosh, that was funny.
privately owned vehicle on New Year's Eve, and a few years back, and it caused a problem in my neck, and I had to have vertebrae fused. Now, in '98, the symptoms started coming back, and the doctor said, we can do this all over again, or you can quit racing. So it was cheaper to quit.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But I have been down to the Petty Experience after that. Then that was really stupid. I forgot to put the doggone neck brace on.
They don't put any headrest on the cars so people can get in them easier, and that makes a big problem for like when we are out there all day. We have nothing holding us up. So first couple days I did it, I got out and my whole body ached because I'm used to the seat holding me in the car. Well, the seat's not made to me. It's just a big seat. So I'm holding myself in the seat.
No.
I'm walking around like limping, like holy crap, my back hurts, and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, you'll get used to it."
Yeah.
Take a couple times. I was like, "Okay."
Bring some pillows. Matt's probably working over in the shop because he said he was over at Coulter's.
Oh, why? I'll have to text his crew chief John because I'm sure he'll call big BS on that. There's a disturbance over at Coulter's because I've heard how that goes with all the drivers. They show up and work stops is what I hear.
They got to do a few laps or something?
Well, they say when Johnny Sauter shows up, Johnny or Matt show up at ThorSport, they said nothing gets done. You might as well give the guys the day off. They said nothing ever gets done because there's always stories and getting told and jokes being played and everything.
Oh, I tell you what, your dad would probably be one of those people we'd like to get on here when we do a story thing.
Oh man, well, I'll get my grandpa on here, and my lord, he could fill 3 or 4 days.
You know Tiger Tom Pistone?
What now?
You know Tiger Tom Pistone?
Yeah.
He's another good one for that.
Yeah, I actually got to meet him about a year ago for the first time. One of the guys that's pretty big in our sport.
Oh, yes. Well, I reckon Matt's not going to take and respond back. You probably scared him off with that question.
You're trying to thinking, oh gosh, he brought that up?
Who told him about that? I didn't tell him you told us, though. But I might do that when I finally talk to him again.
No, man.
Poor Matt.
Oh, I tell you what, a lot of the guys I've known around here alone, and plus the people I used to race against, you talk about getting into some stories, we can. I mean, I haven't had the longest racing career, but I can give you some stories between what I've done and what I've seen other people do.
I can imagine. You know, that all that. I can ask my grandpa if he remembers what my birthday is, and he's like, well, I don't really know. You know, I've had 21 of them, almost 22 now. Be like, well, what'd you do? You know, December 3rd, 1964. Well, we were racing back then.
All right.
We're off into a tangent.
That sounds like my grandparents. My grandpa, he'll forget like some things like within a. Like, I'll tell him something, like, I'm doing that week, and I'll be like, oh, are you going to remember to come to that? He'll completely forget it. But he can tell me a story about when he was driving 18-wheelers, like, way back when he was young and my age and stuff like that. And it just blows my mind, you know, the things that they can remember.
Yeah.
The things they don't, you know.
Now here's another good one for you. Back in 1963.
Oh, boy, here we go.
Okay. My father... I was only 8 years old about then, and he was always telling me, you know, about how he knew Richard Petty and all this other stuff he used to do. Well, we're sitting there, and all of a sudden he gets his phone call, and he says, hey, y'all want to go meet Richard Petty? And I said, sure, why not? Let's go. So he took me and my 2 sisters down, and I would always hear him, you know, talking about how good friends they were. Well, he got out of the car, went over, and the 2 of them started hugging on each other like long-lost brothers. And that's when I found out all the other different stuff I used to find out about what he used to do. And when he passed away, I managed to find all these different pictures of all the daredevil driving he used to do, the racing at the old racetracks, you know, places like China Corner and stuff in this area. And I even remember when he used to take me out to Langley Speedway and let me sit on the right side of the car while he did a little tooling around. And
that's funny.
And it was so nice because I could go up to Richard Petty and I could ask him about it, and he would remember all the stuff that, because they used to race together, and also he used to race with Lee Petty too.
Oh, that's cool.
And so it's nice to find out all these things that you never knew your parents were doing.
Yeah.
But you've been able to live most of the stuff your dad has.
Yeah, for the most part. You know, I don't remember much of the late model days back before, you know, probably 90, 98, 99. Too young for that. So, but, you know, most of everything in the 2000s and the, you know, the championships and stuff, I remember all that. But, you know, you hear all the stories of Fairgrounds Motor Speedway in Louisville and Louisville Motor Speedway that the trucks used to run and stuff, and I vaguely remember much that went on there.
Oh, it probably didn't help that you're tweeting about this too to poor Matt.
we just tweeted Matt here. I just got home, so we had to tweet Matt and let him know we're talking to him.
Yeah, I was sitting there and my phone went off, and I said, oh, maybe it was Matt getting back to me. And then I looked and I said, oh, it's Twitter, and then I saw it was you.
Oh man, hold on, I gotta see this.
Yeah, we're gonna get him to respond somehow.
I'm almost half tempted to call him, but like you said, they were working on the car up there at the Coulter Motorsports.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably leave. Everybody leaves tomorrow. for Lucas Oil, so they're probably getting everything finished up.
Oh well, what can we say?
Yeah, we'll get a response. You'll have to add it in next show.
Next time I get him on there, we'll just have to remember to ask him that.
Yeah, just ask him about his. I have to figure out what kind of car it was exactly. I want to say it was like a BMW old Europe, like '85 European car. That's what it looked like.
Oh gosh. Well, it was great having you on here, bud. Go ahead and give a shout out to your sponsors, and then we'll let you get back on doing what you were doing.
Well, the sponsors, there's so many. With running 4 different race cars. Biggest people, Mom and Dad always help.
Yes.
And I got a guy that.
You're like one of the very few that remember to mention their mom and dad first. But let me go back to your little list there.
Yeah, that's you got to thank Mom and Dad because that's who started you at the bottom. Mom, Dad, and a guy named Bob Peters from Southern Indiana who really got me started in mini cups. But God knows my late model, his name's Frank Reedy. He owns Mars Trucking and Mars Performance Parts, and he's kind of in the past 4 or 5 years been the guy that's really he's given me a chance to race a lot more and took a lot of pressure off Mom and Dad. But the biggest sponsor right now that we've got is Tacy, like fluids and chemicals. That's who jumped on board at Salem. Really good, really great to have them on board. Hopefully we can make some more out of that throughout the rest of the year. They're a really big sponsor for us. Because it's not cheap to do this anymore. So, But really, that's our main guys. I mean, I've had tons of support, and I could spend 30 minutes just naming off people that have really just taken care of us over the years.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for calling tonight and being on our show.
Well, thanks for having me, and we'll have to laugh about when we get our response.
Yes, we will. I sent a little tweet in there that was a good story, and we'll have to tell him about that next show. So he's probably going to be a little nervous about that when we call him next time and ask him about this little driving experience he had.
Number 87. It's a BMW. I'm looking at a picture right now.
Okay, I actually have that written down.
Yeah, 80. It's a number 87. It's a blue and green BMW. I'll have to link you all to it here.
Yeah, please do that. Oh, Lord, this should be good. We'll get a good laugh at that, won't we?
Yeah. So, but yeah, hopefully, maybe after Salem, I'll have to get back on again. We can chat about either how good or bad we did at Salem.
Yeah, it's no problem. We'll put you on here as much as you want. We love trying to get people on here. The biggest thing about us is we try to help promote the people that are coming up.
Yeah. And hopefully I keep coming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're out of sight, you're out of mind.
Oh yeah, that's the bad part. Oh, what's your take? We haven't asked anybody this tonight, and it's part of the news that's going on. What do you think about the thing with AJ?
It's funny. I'm great friends with Parker, who's kind of a teammate to him.
I meant to tell you, you need to check my videos. I've got an old Parker video, did an interview with him down at The Rock when he was running ARCA back then, I think.
Okay, with his long Justin Bieber hair, what I call it.
Whoa, we'll leave that one alone.
Oh, man.
I love it.
Honestly, I don't really know what to think about it. I haven't really kept up with it. I was in Canada for the past 2 weeks, so when it all went down, it was really hard to get really any information on it. But from what it sounds like, from what I've heard, it wasn't taken. He claims he didn't take it on purpose, and obviously it still stays in the system. Because it went on the test B. But I really don't know. I mean, it's AJ's a little stout guy, and if they said it was something like some type of stimulant STD type thing, you could sit there and say, well, he works out a ton. He's a pretty built little guy. But anything other than that, he seems like too much of a class act.
It's going to be interesting when they finally limited down to figuring out what it was. There's been a lot of stuff they said it isn't so far. I keep seeing pop up on Twitter and on Facebook.
Yeah.
And on J-Ski and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting what they finally say it is.
Within like nanograms is what they called it, of being the legal, the legal tolerance. So that, anybody that got tested for A and he would not have never taken it again. You know what I mean? Because it's his job. So obviously whatever was put in there, it obviously is going to stay around a while. It's not something short term.
Yeah, he's already signed up for the RTR, so.
Yeah, that's the first sign that kind of shows that it probably wasn't intentional. Because at that point, if you're gonna go ahead and sign up and take care of all that, and you did it once and you screwed up and you got caught, admit it and go on. You know what I mean?
I mean, you could sit there and have poppy seed bread and wind up popping up positive,
I mean, if I remember right before Kentucky, he was up in like New York or something, from something I read, and hanging out with people. I mean, when you're up at places like that, who knows what could have happened? It just happened to be that he got drug tested. So I don't know. It's a bad deal for him, bad deal for Penske and all that. But hopefully he'll learn. If it was unintentional and happened to be because somebody put something in his drink or something like that, I guarantee he won't ever put his drink down again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can relate to that part.
Oh, boy. Another story, right? That'll be another story for another time, everybody.
Let him get out of here.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
Him and his stories, gosh.
Oh, hey, I can give you lots of.
I know, we could do a whole show on you and stories. We could just get drivers to come up and ask you about, hey, you have a story about this? You could fill out half a show or a whole show of it.
Easily.
Easily.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's called experience right there.
Yeah.
That's right. Experience.
Experience.
So.
Get your butt out of here. Let's get you going.
Well, all right. I appreciate it, and hopefully talk to you all soon.
All right. Hope so too.
Nice having you on here.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Hey, I'm learning this thing. I pushed a button and it
Who
worked.
says you can't teach?
Whoa. Whoa. Be glad you didn't finish that sentence there.
Oh, I ain't scared. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for being here with us tonight. We had a good time, and hopefully y'all did too. See you next time.
Bye.
Hi, my name is Natalie Sather. I drive the 94 K&N Lady Eagle Safety Wear, Butler built seats, bell helmets, hooker harness seat belts, number 94 at South Boston Speedway. Be sure to listen to Let's Talk Racing TV.
I'm Sam Hunt, driving 42 car on the thing Let's Talk Racing.
Hey guys, I'm Daytona 500 winner Trevor Bain, and thank you for watching Let's Talk Racing.
Hi, I'm Robert Richardson Jr., driver of the number 23 Dodge Challenger for R3 Motorsports in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and you're watching Let's Talk Racing.
I'm Tony Peter, driver of the number 17 Toyota NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, and you're listening to Let's Talk Racing.
Let's Talk Racing is brought to you by PC Doctors, Computer Sales and Services. This doctor still makes house calls. And also Hampton Incredible Tees and Signs, both located at 1248 North King Street in Hampton, Virginia.